I am Alfred Adler. As a psychiatrist and psychologist designing lives, I have probed the inner worlds of many. Today, I have one core message for you. People live not by causes, but by purposes. And it is those who continue to clearly envision their purposes who turn dreams into reality. The journey of Shohei Ohtani is proof of this. As a high school student, he didn't just wish to thrive in the majors, he had already mapped out the actions needed to achieve that. The mandala chart, placing the dream at the center, surrounding it with supporting elements, further breaking them down into daily actions, is not just a plan. It's an extremely powerful psychological tool that transforms future purposes into present-day actions. Why is this discussion valuable now? Because many people talk about who they want to become while drifting through their days without a clear plan to get there. People often attribute their current selves to past experiences or environments. But the truth I have observed is the opposite. People shape their current selves for the sake of who they want to be in the future. In other words, it is not the dream that moves people. It is the purpose attached to the dream that guides them towards making choices. In this video, using Shohei Ohtani's mandala chart, I will dissect the mindset that turns dreams into reality through the lens of my purpose-driven theory. If you grasp this principle, you can design a leap in any arena of life, even if you're not a baseball player. Have you ever written down your dreams on paper? Most likely many people have done so at least once. But where is that piece of paper now? Is it tucked away in your desk drawer? If it is, that is evidence that you have turned your dream into a thing of the past. Shohei Ohtani was different. The mandala chart he created as a high school freshman is not just a list of declarations. From a psychological perspective, it is an exceptionally rare future action map. At the center, he set the goal of being the first pick from 8 teams in the draft, and around it, he arranged 9 elements necessary for achieving this. Each element was then broken down into 9 specific actions. This method brilliantly embodies the essence of the teleology I advocate. Psychological research suggests that the greatest motivator for changing behavior is a clear vision of the future. Causes and past events might influence one's direction temporarily, but the future objective is what keeps driving a person forward in the long term. Ohtani visualized that objective and integrated it into his daily life in a way that was constantly in sight. It was like a psychological mechanism constantly asking him, "Why are you living for today?" In this video, we will thoroughly dissect the psychological mechanisms behind why individuals can change their behavior so drastically from a single piece of paper like the mandala chart. Then, by the end, I'll provide you with a method to draw your own purpose chart. I promise this isn't just a success story of a baseball player, it's a concrete strategy to redesign your life. Our society today is overwhelmed by a torrent of information. With just a quick scroll through social media, we're bombarded by the dazzling achievements of the successful and catch glimpses of someone's efforts from yesterday or failures from today. While this environment might seem motivating, it actually holds a risk of eroding the sense of purpose for many. Many people today speak of dreams and goals, but oftentimes these are merely borrowed aspirations tailored to meet the approval of others. Trending careers, flashy lifestyles, and easily accepted words by those around us become the focal point of our goals, only to waver in a few months. This happens because these goals aren't born from within. When purpose is vague, daily actions are influenced by the environment and emotions, and eventually we lose our direction. In this chaos, Shohei Ohtani's mandala chart stands out due to its unique purpose and clear structure. The dream at its center was neither for someone else nor for simple accolades. He chose a destination he genuinely wanted and broke down the necessary actions into daily habits. In psychological terms, this represents a blend of intrinsic motivation and specific action implementation. In today's society, the abundance of choices and the speed of information steal people's focus. Before they know it, people start living reactively, responding to immediate stimuli rather than meaningful goals. This is why it's crucial to quietly envision your future committed to paper and establish an unwavering structure. It is not the amount of information, but the clarity of purpose that conquers chaos. This truth is something Shohei Ohtani grasped as a high schooler. I am Alfred Adler. When understanding human behavior, I have always asked, for what purpose are they doing this? While many branches of psychology seek to uncover past causes and identify the chains that bind people to their present, I have believed that it is the future goals that shape individuals. This is teleology. Once in my consulting room, a young man said, "I can't accomplish anything because I'm lazy." I replied, "It's not that you don't act because you're lazy. You're lazy because you choose not to act." This shift in perspective changes the course of life. Past experiences and character can either become excuses or materials for building the future. However, it is always the individual who decides how to use them. Shohei Ohtani's mandala chart resonates with this ideology. He positioned his future self at the center and worked backward to establish the necessary actions. This is what I call a lifestyle, a conscious redesign of one's unique perspective on the world, value judgments, and rules of behavior. It is remarkable that he achieved this as a high school student. While many adults vaguely hold on to the notion of "it would be nice if," he has structured this idea and transformed it into a criterion for daily self-choices. Throughout the history of psychology, many methods have been proposed to change behavior. However, lasting change does not occur through external coercion or short-term stimuli. What drives people sustainably is the self-chosen future depicted within them. If my voice can resonate across time, it would say this: the future is not something to be predicted. It is created through purpose. When translating my teleological framework to the modern stage, its essence is this: transform future goals into blueprints for current actions. This is not mere idealism, but a thought process with a tangible structure. Shohei Ohtani's mandala chart expressively embodies this structure with high purity. It places a clear goal at the center, surrounded by 9 intermediate objectives. Each intermediate objective is further broken down into 9 actionable levels. This 3-tier structure significantly shortens the distance from goal to action. By gradually lowering the psychological abstraction, what needs to be done loses its ambiguity and directly connects to today's actions. In the business world, this principle can be directly applied. For instance, a vague vision of becoming the industry leader does not alter employees' daily activities. However, if this is broken down using the mandala model into intermediate objectives like improve customer satisfaction, develop new products, and enhance sales capabilities, and each is further detailed into specific actions like conduct 3 customer interviews daily or review prototypes weekly, the goals start to move within reality. Psychologically speaking, this structure acts as a boost to self-efficacy. People feel motivated by actions within their reach rather than distant goals. The mandala chart visually demonstrates that those actions are firmly connected to the ultimate goal, thus constantly clarifying the meaning of their efforts. Consequently, concentration and endurance significantly increase. By activating future goals in this manner, evolution becomes inevitable. Whether in sports, business, or one's personal life, Shohei Ohtani's success is no accident. It was achieved because he integrated a psychologically refined goal structure into his daily life. Let me pose a question to you. Even if you have a clear goal, should you remain flexible in response to daily changes and new temptations, or should you uphold a firm objective regardless of some environmental changes? This dilemma is an unavoidable challenge for practitioners of teleology. Choosing a path like Shohei Ohtani, who fixed his dream in his teens and consistently built upon it, is undoubtedly powerful. However, overly rigid goals risk missing new possibilities brought by changes in the environment or personal growth. If you prioritize flexibility, it's easier to adapt to changes, but your focus can become scattered. If you maintain a strong objective, consistency is preserved, but the gap with your environment might widen. Psychologically, this balance is extremely delicate. I have advocated the concept of separating concerns, and there's a connection here. What you can control is the quality and structure of your goals, not the environment itself. So, how should you respond to environmental changes? This is a lifestyle choice each person must make. If you are pursuing a goal now, ask yourself, is that goal truly something that emerged from within you? And how flexible are you willing to be to protect that goal? The future doesn't simply open up by having a goal. How you hold and face that goal determines its quality. Technology has ushered in an era where the structure for achieving goals can be enhanced like never before. We record our habits with smartphone apps. AI analyzes our daily behavior patterns and provides feedback. By sharing goal management sheets in the cloud, progress becomes instantly visible, whether for individuals or teams. This expands the visual connection from goals to actions that mandala charts achieved on paper, but now at the digital speed and scale. However, I also issue a warning. Convenient technology carries the risk of outsourcing the goals themselves in exchange for ease. Adopting goals proposed by AI as your own is akin to placing someone else's dreams at your center. When Shohei Ohtani drew his mandala chart, it was his own will, the language of a purpose rising from within. If you leave this to another's algorithm, teleology becomes hollow. In the future society, the pace of change will accelerate even more. Careers and lifestyles might transform every few years. Among these changes, those who can sustain continuous evolution are those who set their core purpose themselves and flexibly adjust their methods. In psychological terms, this means maintaining a fixed core in one's lifestyle while updating the surrounding action plans. The mandala chart might seem like a mere paper tool, but its essence is structured self-determination. Once you understand this principle, you won't lose sight of your purpose, no matter what future technologies you are immersed in. Regardless of how times change, what drives people has always been the future they choose for themselves. I know that sometimes silence reaches the heart more deeply than words. In the daily journey of painting a vision and striving towards it, how quietly do you converse with your inner self? When Shohei Ohtani drew his mandala chart, it probably wasn't amidst noise. In that silence where only the sound of the pen tracing the paper echoed, he must have been confronting his future self. There were no evaluations from others, no notifications from social media, only the inner voice rising up. This is what I want to become, and this is how I will live to achieve it. Psychologically, a purpose is both a declaration to the external world and a pledge to one's inner self. This pledge is not strengthened by external applause or accolades, but is honed in silence. It is in solitary moments that one can truly ascertain their real motives. If you find yourself swept up in the busyness of daily life, I urge you to stop everything for a moment. In a time where nothing is being input, envision your purpose once more. Hold a pen, write on paper, connect the lines and give it shape. This task is not merely an exercise in planning, it is a ritual to engrave the course towards the future into the depths of your heart. A purpose found in silence remains unshaken, even amidst turbulent days. It is the quietest yet most powerful truth I wish to convey across time. Defining your purpose is just the starting point. From there, it's a continuous process of re-choosing how to proceed. People often cling too tightly to a plan and hesitate to adjust it, even when circumstances change. However, a guiding principle must serve as a compass that adapts to change, not as a fixed map, but as an ever-updating chart of your course. I use the concept of lifestyle in psychology, which refers to one's unique worldview and rules of behavior, yet it can be adaptively modified. If you realize that your actions toward achieving your goal don't fit the current situation, you must adjust them without hesitation. Shohei Ohtani's mandala chart didn't end the moment it was written on paper. His specific actions were undoubtedly fine-tuned daily, considering his training, health, and match results. So how can you turn your life goals into actions? Define your purpose in a single sentence. Transform vague dreams into concrete objectives. Set supporting sub-goals. Break them down into at least 5 to 9 items to allow for flexibility. Decompose sub-goals into daily actions. Reduce them to habits you can establish. Regularly review your progress. Weekly, align your current state with your goals and correct any discrepancies. Continuously reassess the meaning of your purpose. Ensure it is for yourself, not for others. By following this guideline, you'll experience less confusion and make quicker decisions. Above all, this approach fosters a strong confidence by linking each action directly to your future goal. It's not enough to envision your purpose. You must choose, convert it into action, and re-choose as needed. This is the path of those who turn dreams into reality. When people talk about their purpose, they often speak passionately. Discussions of dreams and goals can inspire and motivate the listener. However, that passion doesn't last. Emotions flood in like waves and eventually recede. That's why a quiet strength is needed, something that remains after the fervor fades. I believe that the true strength of a person with purpose is revealed in ordinary moments. Shohei Ohtani likely spent more time in early morning training sessions and quiet recovery periods than in the spotlight during a game. These moments aren't glamorous, Yet it is during these quiet days that the contours of one's purpose become clearer and sharper. I want you to embrace days when seemingly nothing happens, days when plans don't go smoothly, when results aren't visible, when you repeat the same actions routinely. These are the days when the essence supporting your purpose is hidden. In the quiet, take time to reaffirm your direction. It's like strengthening the muscles of your heart. Ultimately, your purpose will remain within you as a story. When you reach your goal and look back, what you'll see is not merely the outcome, but the person you became on the journey. That image will quietly draw the next purpose closer. What remains after calming the heat, that becomes the quiet driving force that leads you into the future. What I've been discussing so far is essentially my teleology as reflected in Shohei Ohtani's mandala chart. People are not defined by their past. They shape their present and choose their paths based on future goals. This principle applies universally not only to athletes but also to students, business people, and those building families. As Adler, I have always hoped that people would live their lives according to their internal purposes rather than the expectations of others. Shohei Ohtani's journey is a perfect example of this way of living. However, this is not just a story of those with special talents. Clearly defining a goal, translating it into daily actions, and choosing anew in response to changing circumstances. This practice is possible for anyone. If today, through this story, you've been able to clarify even slightly the outline of your own purpose, then you've reached a new starting line. From there, all you have to do is pick up a pen and paper and draw your own mandala. In that moment, you too begin to create your future with your own hands. On this channel, we also decode the present through the perspectives of other great minds, offering insights that lead to action. Next, I encourage you to explore Sun Tzu's strategies and Socrates' dialogue techniques. Changing the future always starts with today's choices. To you who have listened this far, I leave you with one last question. What is placed at the center of your mandala? The mandala chart of Shohei Ohtani that I discussed today is a record of a young man choosing his future and designing his daily actions for it. However, the true meaning of this video is not to celebrate Ohtani's success. It's for you to find your own central purpose and seize the opportunity to shape it. Please let me know in the comments section, what purpose do you wish to place at your center right now, and what intermediate goals will surround it? If you can outline specific action plans, then you're already ready to set things in motion. This dialogue doesn't need to end here. Feel free to share the growth or changes in your mandala here again. I will continue to provide insights from a psychological perspective to help maintain your sense of purpose. The future is not shaped by chance, but by purpose. It's up to you how you wish to live out this truth. Now it's time for you to draw your story.